The law of attraction is always working, but it does not work by your confusion, your fear, or your halfway declarations. It is not waiting to see if you mean it. It is not guessing whether you are ready. The law is exact, the law is silent, and the law is impersonal. It mirrors the vibration you carry, not the performance you give. That which you affirm is not what you attract. That which you believe, unwaveringly, wholly, and faithfully, is what must show up. The word is your wand, and the moment you speak it with spiritual authority, it goes out into the invisible realm to form and fashion your visible world. But many speak their word and then speak against it. They affirm prosperity and then declare lack. They call for love and then confess loneliness. They declare faith and then return to worry. This is spiritual double-mindedness, and the word, once divided, returns void. The law of attraction appears not to work when your heart and your mouth are in disagreement. You may say, "I am abundant." But if in the silence of your mind you say, "I don't see it," you have undone the prayer. You have reversed the order. The law obeys the deeper vibration, not the louder one. What are you broadcasting when no one is watching? What are you thinking about when you rise in the morning or lie down to sleep? That is your true vibration. That is the mold. And that mold is magnetic. You cannot attract anything inconsistent with the pattern you carry in the secret place. Jesus said, "Out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh." But many speak out of desperation, not abundance. They speak not because they know it is done, but because they hope someone will hear and rescue them. Beloved, no one is coming to rescue you, for you have already been rescued by the truth. Now you must agree with it. The law works for those who work with it, with faith, with gratitude, with assured knowing that the word does not return void. If the law isn't working for you, it is because it is working through you and simply revealing what you truly believe. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not a fleeting rush of emotion after reading an affirmation or hearing a promise. Faith is a spiritual position, a firm stand, a divine assurance that what is spoken in alignment with God's law must manifest. Faith does not beg. Faith does not question. Faith commands. The one who walks in faith does not repeat affirmations like a child shaking a magic wand, hoping for miracles. No. The one who walks in faith speaks the word once with power and then walks as though it were already done. That is the faith that makes mountains move. That is the faith that raises Lazarus from the tomb. When you affirm from emotion alone, without spiritual authority, you are like a ship without a rudder. The winds of doubt will toss you here and there. But when you affirm with knowing, when you say, "I am rich," and your inner world agrees, then the invisible supply is released and provision rushes toward you under grace in perfect ways. The law of attraction fails those who treat faith as a momentary high, not a permanent home. If you are moved by the outer world, you are not yet rooted in the inner one. Faith is not reactive. It is creative. It does not say, "I'll believe it when I see it." It says, "Because I believe, I will see it." When you truly walk in faith, the appearance of lack does not disturb you, because you know that appearances are lies if they contradict the word. Florence said, I do not limit God by seeing limitation. And yet, how many speak their word in the morning and doubt it by noon? This is why your manifestation is delayed. You have stepped off the stage of truth and entered the court of fear. Get back into your spiritual place. Declare it once more with power. Seal it with praise, and do not look back. Faith is a bridge from the invisible to the visible. Cross it, and do not hesitate mid-step. The law does not fail. The word does not fail. Only the one who doubts delays the harvest. You are not aligning with divine timing. You are attempting to control what is already being orchestrated by infinite intelligence. The law of attraction does not respond to force. It responds to faithful alignment. When you speak your word and then immediately look around for proof, you are not in faith. You are in fear, and fear is a form of resistance. You are not trusting the process of divine law. You are interrogating it. You want the harvest before the seed has taken root. You expect the miracle without giving it time to unfold. But the spirit of truth cannot be rushed. What is yours by divine right is already complete in the unseen, but it will not appear until you have released the urge to make it happen through human effort. There is a spiritual arrogance and impatience. It says, I know better than divine order. It insists on dates, times, and conditions. But divine supply does not respond to calendars. It responds to vibrational readiness. And readiness does not come from pushing. It comes from resting in the knowing. It is done. You cannot call yourself a spiritual practitioner and panic when the phone doesn't ring or the money hasn't arrived by Tuesday. God's clock is never behind, but you delay your good when you stare at the door instead of preparing for the guest. When you are truly in alignment, you prepare the space, you dress the table, you walk in the feeling that it is already yours. And then, at the appointed time, it appears. Not one moment too soon, and not one moment too late. Many cancel their manifestations because they cannot stay the course. They wander from belief to belief, trying techniques and switching affirmations as if truth needed a strategy. The law needs only your unshaken conviction. Hold the vision. Do not demand. Do not chase. Do not ask when, for that is the language of separation. Say instead, in divine right timing, my good appears, and I shall not lift a finger in fear. It comes to me freely, fully, and under grace. The law is precise, but it is not on your schedule. The harvest comes not when the mind insists, but when the soul is in full agreement with the word. You keep digging up your seed with fear-based words. You speak the affirmation in the morning, but by evening you've uprooted it with doubt, anxiety, and contradiction. The spoken word is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. But that soil must be undisturbed for the harvest to take root and grow. You cannot plant a seed and then return every hour to see if it has sprouted. You cannot shout over the ground, "Why haven't you grown yet?" and expect it to flourish. This is how most people treat their manifestation practice. They affirm with their lips but deny with their hearts. They declare divine supply, but then speak of bills, delays, and lack. They say, "I am healed," but then rehearse symptoms. The universe does not hear your occasional declarations. It hears your constant vibration. Every time you speak against your word, you cancel the order. You tell the infinite, I do not trust the law. I do not believe what I said. But the law, being impersonal, simply obeys. If you affirm lack, even in jest, even in passing, even when just being realistic, you are writing that lack into the blueprint. The law does not distinguish between jokes, complaints, or facts. It only knows command. Florence said, man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, though he may not see one single sign of it. But most people are looking for signs instead of preparing the way. They keep asking, where is it? As if the law forgot. The law forgets nothing, but it must be obeyed with consistency. The one who affirms must walk as though it were already true. That means the healing is done. So speak no more of illness. The supply is released. So speak no more of poverty. The relationship is aligned. So speak no more of being alone. To affirm and then confess otherwise is spiritual sabotage. You must stand guard over your mouth, for your words are creative tools, not casual sounds. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and many are destroying their own harvest with careless speech. Hold the vision, guard the word, and speak only what you want multiplied. The word of fear is just as magnetic as the word of faith, so speak carefully, speak faithfully, and above all, speak as if God has already delivered, because in truth He has. You are attracting from the head, not commanding from the spirit. That is why your manifestations are delayed, diluted, or denied. The spoken word must not only pass through your lips, it must be infused with power, with certainty, and with spiritual agreement. Many people speak affirmations as if they are reading a shopping list. Casual, lifeless, rehearsed. But the law does not move by mechanical repetition. It moves by vibration backed by conviction. When Florence Scovel-Shinn said, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs," she meant that whatever you send out, in tone, in thought, in energy, returns to you. So what are you sending out when your heart is disconnected and your spirit is uninvolved? To attract rightly, you must not operate from the surface mind, the part that worries, analyzes, and doubts. You must speak from the inner sanctuary, the place where you know that you and the Father are one. When you say, I am wealthy, and you feel it in your bones, when your inner world leaps in agreement, then the law has no choice but to obey that command. The outer world must reflect the inner decree. But if you speak it with hope and hesitation, as if testing the wind, then the universe remains still. The law cannot activate what you only partially believe. A divided mind is a blocked channel. There is a vast difference between hoping and knowing. Many say their affirmations while simultaneously scanning the world for evidence. They declare, love is coming, but watch the phone like a hawk. They affirm, money flows to me, but cringe at every bill. This is not spiritual dominion. This is doubt disguised as discipline. You are not here to recite magic formulas. You are here to wield spiritual authority. And that authority comes not from intellect, but from your oneness with divine mind. You must feel the truth of your words in your very cells, in your breath, in your posture, in the silence between affirmations. You must let the word become flesh within you first, and then it will appear outside you. When the soul agrees with the word, the demonstration must appear. It is spiritual law. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on your full alignment, your complete surrender to the vibration of already done. The subconscious mind is the workshop of God. It builds in secret what you command in spirit. But it only begins when your voice matches your belief. Speak the word, not from the head, but from the place where fear cannot enter. The place where there is no question, only knowing. There is no power in parroting. There is great power in commanding. Command ye me, saith the Lord. But you must command from your spirit, not just your speech. You're chasing, not magnetizing. And the law does not respond to chasing. Chasing is rooted in fear. Magnetizing is rooted in power. When you chase, you declare, it is not here. I must find it. I must make it happen. This is the vibration of lack. It is the spiritual posture of separation. And anything you chase runs from you. You cannot pursue that which is yours by divine right. You can only align with it. The kingdom of heaven is not seized by striving. It is revealed through stillness, faith, and spiritual certainty. You do not grab at the blessing. You become the blessing. Then all that belongs to you arrives without struggle. Florence said, "There is no competition on the spiritual plane. What is rightfully mine is given me under grace. If you believe you must compete, prove, force, or manipulate, then you are no longer working with the law. You are working against it. The soul does not chase. The soul remembers. It remembers its wholeness, its source, its divine inheritance. And from this remembering, it begins to radiate. And that radiance calls forth the exact good in the exact hour. By the exact means ordained by divine mind. You do not chase your good. You prepare for it. You become it. You allow it to meet you in stillness, not in panic. When you chase, you step out of alignment and into scarcity. You are telling the universe, I do not trust that what is mine will find me. And so the law must obey. It keeps it out of reach. But when you say, all that is mine by divine right is magnetized to me now, with ease and grace, you release the burden of how and when. You stop looking at the clock. You stop asking for signs. You stop trying to impress the invisible. And in that moment, you become a magnet for miracles. Magnetizing is not passive. It is deeply active in the unseen. It is the invisible motion of the soul standing in full agreement with God. The world will call it waiting, but in truth, it is spiritual demonstration in progress. While others are striving, the one who knows simply holds the tone, holds the vibration, holds the word. And suddenly, and often without warning, the good appears. The law never needed your effort. It needed your agreement. You are not here to chase after your dreams. You are here to draw them into your field as a divine magnet does. Silently, powerfully, inevitably. You have not cleared the inner blocks. The old beliefs still rule. You are building your affirmations upon a foundation of fear, and then wondering why the house keeps collapsing. You speak of wealth, but deep within, you carry the unhealed memory of poverty. You affirm love, yet your heart still echoes with the wounds of rejection. You declare freedom, but your subconscious is chained to shame, guilt, and silent self-sabotage. And the law, being precise and obedient, mirrors not your surface declarations, but your subterranean convictions. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your subconscious mind accepts whatever is impressed upon it through feeling. This means it is not what you say once, but what you believe consistently that sets the law into motion. The law of attraction is a faithful servant, but it serves the ruler on the throne of your inner world. And if fear sits there, cloaked in old theology, old trauma, or inherited limitation, then it is that which will manifest again and again. You may believe in abundance, but if you secretly feel unworthy of it, the law will reflect that hidden feeling with surgical precision. Life cannot give you what you reject with your energy. You must go into the inner temple and clean house. Root out the false ideas that say, I'm not enough. I always lose. Nothing ever works for me. These are not just passing thoughts. They are vibrational contracts that the law continues to fulfill until you consciously break them. You must say with boldness, this belief no longer serves me. I cancel it, I release it, I replace it with truth. Every word of fear must be replaced with a word of faith. Every curse spoken over your past, by family, by religion, by circumstance, must be reversed by the authority of your spiritual word. You cannot pour the wine of the Spirit into the old bottles of wounded identity. The bottle must be made new. And how do you know there is still a block? When your demonstration is delayed and your spirit is disturbed. That is your clue. The block is not out there, it is within. And once revealed, it can be released. You do not fight the block, you replace it. You do not fear the belief, you forgive it. You speak the word and let it dissolve the false like light dissolves darkness. For every error thought is but a shadow, and your divine knowing is the sun. When the inner world is cleared, the outer must align. The law cannot hold back what your soul fully accepts. You forgot the most important law, the law of God's grace. You have tried to work the law of attraction through force of will, through endless affirmations, through strained belief, but you have not yet surrendered to the higher law, the law that transcends effort and calculation, the law that erases karma, overrides logic, and delivers miracles beyond reason. The law of grace is the master key, and without it, all other laws become burdensome and incomplete. You can affirm until your voice is hoarse, visualize until your eyes ache. But if you do not invite grace, you will find yourself endlessly striving, grasping, and chasing your own shadow. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, I am no longer under the law of karma. I am under grace. What does this mean? It means you no longer accept a life of struggle, penance, or delay. It means you no longer believe you must earn your good through suffering. It means that even when you make a misstep, the hand of God corrects it, the current of spirit redirects it, and your good still reaches you. Untouched, undiminished, and right on time. Grace is not leniency. It is divine precision without punishment. It is the law moved by love. Many people are blocked because they are still secretly punishing themselves. They believe they must learn their lesson through lack or prove their worth through pain. They see their past and assume their future must match it. But the law of grace says otherwise. It says, though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. It says, there is no condemnation. It says, your slate is clean and your supply is infinite. But you must receive this. You must allow this higher law to govern your life. You must surrender your guilt, your regrets, your old story, and say, I am now governed by grace. What is mine comes not by effort, but by divine arrangement. When you align only with the law of attraction and forget grace, you fall into legalism. You treat the universe like a machine. Input this thought, get that result. But God is not a machine. God is spirit, and spirit moves through mercy, beauty, and perfect intelligence. The moment you release your demand to get it right, grace enters. The moment you say, even if I've failed, my good still finds me, grace enters. The moment you declare, under grace, in perfect ways, the heavens rearrange themselves to deliver what is already yours by divine right. You do not have to deserve your good. You only have to receive it. And when grace is the atmosphere of your life, manifestation becomes inevitable, unstoppable, and blessed beyond measure.